Welcome to Hops News, the trusted source in beer culture news. Here's your host, Jay Brew.
Hey, welcome to another Hoppy Hour. And we've got a good episode lined up for you tonight. And I will tell you, I'm about damn tired of this COVID shit. I'm ready for some college football, some tailgating, a lot of damn beer drinking, and raising hell at Kid Brewer Stadium. What you think about that, Lucky?
Oh no, Lucky left his mic muted.
Oh yeah, Lucky's muted, so he can't hear us tonight. There he goes.
He's over here shouting. My language is nice.
Lucky, I'm ready for some college football. Let's go check in with Lucky up there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Lucky, I'm ready for some college football, man.
Jay, you are preaching to the choir, man. I am so sick of this stuff. Paying attention to sports. Baseball, I saw that the Miami Marlins are just done for 2 weeks now because of COVID. They had too many tests pop up, and so they're taking 14 days off. I don't know exactly how that's going to work, but yeah, I know, man. It's not looking good for college football. I also saw that Madison, I think their AD came out and said that if no football is going to be played for Wisconsin, they're going to lose like $70 million or something this year. That's absolutely insane. So maybe that pushes the hand a little bit. It's a lot of money to be missing out on. But yeah, I feel you. I'm ready. I'm ready for it to be back. I'm ready for this to be over.
Hey, there's one of our Hops News family members there in the chat, Jeff Langer. What's up, man? We appreciate you being a Hops News family member. I'll bet a beer that Jeff Langer is ready for some football and tailgating at Kid Brewer Stadium. I will tell you, there's only a few people that show up as early as I do at the tailgating. Jeff Langer's one of those dudes I can count on being there early. So, yeah, man, it's, I will tell you, it's all relative, right? Even the FCS guys may only lose, $500,000 of revenue for their season or whatever, maybe even less than that. It's kind of all relative, right? But those big teams, I spoke with a gentleman that was a Clemson grad, big Clemson booster this past week. He said their football budget was like $102 million.
Oh, God.
How the
And you're
hell?
just going to lose
guys,
on,
that's how a lot of these colleges, man, all their revenue comes from football, and that's how all these other sports get funded.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Speaking of football, let's go check in with MASH. MASH is out there in Boise country. Not that I like Boise or anything, but MASH, how are things going on there in Mount Nome, Idaho? Man, are you guys tearing up any more things out there or what? It looked like you guys had a little bit of expensive erector set laying out there on the runway a little bit ago.
Yeah, so we had a little bit of an incident at work. Just the taxpayers' couple $100 million asset on the flight, laying down there kind of. And somehow it affected my internet too because they decided to cut the internet line. So I've been in and out all day hoping that we'd be fine for tonight. So hopefully we don't have a repeat of last week where I just fall out. But yeah, college football, man. Although I am wicked excited for the NHL to be back this week. College football's another one. I had season tickets to Boise State, the blue turf field, all that kind of good stuff. So I'm going to be missing out on Florida State coming up, and then programs like that. All their money's going to be kind of going away. So that's kind of bummed. And then it rolls into, are we going to have NFL, things like that. So all the distractions that we kind of have to get our minds off this COVID stuff is just killing us slowly. But I guess that's why we drink beer, right? Which tonight I'm drinking a little coffee mild from Woodland Empire here in Boise, repping local tonight. Because if you can get out there, drink local.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds like a good beer. I know they gave us some love there in the Insta, so we gotta definitely appreciate those guys. Look at Hoppy checking in. I'm drinking a Civil Society Camo Double IPA. I knew she was going to come out with something heavy.
We can't see her. She's drinking a Camo.
Yeah, when she steps up to the plate, she's going to be swinging for the fences every single time. Corey, good to see you. Appreciate you being in the family. Robbie, good to see you. Appreciate you as well. Corey, I'm Man, I tell you what, there's a brewery just down the road from here that you don't pick up a can without a phenomenal liquid in it. And the name of that brewery is Burial. And if
I've heard of them.
Not had any of their stuff, this is an inner tube lager beer. And where I'm at with lagers this season, this thing is spot on. It is a 3.5% lager. Man,
that's an all-day crush right there.
I could crush these damn things, about 2 cases of these probably at a tailgate, and still make it in the stadium.
That's a river tailgating beer, man.
Yeah,
that's a definite tailgate beer right there.
This is one of those beers that keep on coming, boy, because you could. This is one of those. I didn't realize they had this one. This is the first time I've seen it. I'm gonna have to make sure it's in the cooler. Lucky, what are you sipping on there?
I've got a Cream City Crusher. This is Explorium. Explorium is one, it popped up in 2016, I believe, but it's in Greendale, which is right by my hometown. They've got some good stuff, though. They've got a double IPA that I'm really liking, so I'm checking them out a little bit more. But yeah, big fan of the Cream City Crusher. It's 4.5. It's another ale that's just, I think I can drink a lot of these.
We're all drinking 4%ers, 3%ers tonight, because that's what mine is. It's a 4%.
Heck yeah, man.
So Corey said he's drinking a Jagged Mountain. This beer really ties a room together. White milk stout with coffee and cocoa. Wow.
That sounds right up my alley.
That sounds like a dessert beer right there. It does. I bet you that thing is delicious. And Brad checking in. Common Law Brewing Supreme Court Justice, a New England style IPA. I can guarantee you if Brad's putting it out there and he's putting it to his lips, it's going to be tasty.
Is that the beer that Brad was drinking on
the
guys?
That is
Hops News fam?
Yeah, so Brad actually and we did a little 4.5 minute video today of a beer tasting. I did it's the something cruiser, I can't remember off the top of my head, from Oxbow Brewing, which is in Maine. Is a little sea salt beer is what I had. Tasted a lot like lime, like a Goza almost. And then Brad, he was crushing his Supreme Court Justice that they just brewed this past weekend. And Common Law, if you're in Tennessee, Common Law is taking part in a virtual brew fest coming up. So if you're in the Tennessee, Nashville area, get involved in that, because Common Law is going to be up and coming in that area soon.
Awesome. Robbie says, what I would give to be lazing down a river with a good lager in hand. Man, that is something we can definitely do in Western North Carolina on a weekend. That sounds like a good Hops News get together right there, because I guarantee you we could drink some beer in a couple of hours of floating down the damn river. And there's plenty of them around here to do it. Hey, we've got a great show lined up for you today. I've got a caller in the green room that we'll get to in just a minute from Block 3 Brewing.
Baby.
Yeah, from Block 3 Brewing. As you can see, the flag there behind MASH is a indication where those guys are brewing beer. So it'd be good to talk to them, eh? Check it out. Hops News Bomber Jackets. It's the thing. I just sent the first boxes to these guys on this side of the mic today. That's got a couple of them in them for them. Pretty sweet bomber jacket. This one will be up for grabs somehow tonight. We'll figure it out when we get into it, but that'll be the random giveaway. MASH has dropped the PayPal link for Beers Giving, another great organization that we featured before on one of our episodes. Don't be afraid to hit those guys up. Those guys are doing some awesome stuff. And I really, really hope that we can find a brewery to do a collaboration with them after we get done with the bottle share collaboration. That one is taking a little bit of time because we got to put together our website first and foremost and get that store set up. But it is coming together, and we hope to feature Beers Giving sometime. Don't forget Patreon, the Hops News family members. I will tell you guys, it's been pretty amazing to watch that, to be honest with you. Quite humbling. I would have never imagined. End of April 30th, right after everybody kind of started to get settled in the quarantine and the way life was going to be. Nobody knew it at the time, but now the end of July, I mean, there's a lot of us still impacted by this. Started doing some pretty amazing things. Money raised since the end of April on episodes, and this is just episodes here that I have there, $1,546 in episodes. Hope to do a little bit more tonight, so pop in that donation for Beers Giving. There's the website for those guys doing great things. Local support, a little over $35,000 for a total of about $36,000 in impacts. So definitely couldn't have done it without the Hops News family giving us those resources that we use to make this happen. And definitely couldn't do it without the two gentlemen that are joining me tonight, and the lady of the show that is not with us tonight because it's a Tuesday. And unless I threaten her with a cheap beer Thursday, she never even makes an attempt to join us on Tuesdays. But it's been good. Good hearing and seeing Mash and Lucky on the show tonight. We're going to have Block 3 Brewing from all the way north in Canada joining us. Let's go check in and see if Kevin is on the line. Kevin, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good to have you on, man. How are things going up there in Canada? Are you guys quarantined, locked in home, sheltering in place? What's the situation in Canada with this COVID?
Yeah, it's it's been pretty similar. We just kind of had our tap room reopen, patios, things like that. It's been a wild few months, man.
Well, at least we're not the only ones then. It's been I will tell you, no matter who we've talked to, where in the world they are, all the way from Germany to across the country, obviously into Canada now, this has been this has been something else. Glad to hear you guys are back open. How long were you guys closed down?
So we got shut down shortly after St. Paddy's Day, shortly before St. Paddy's Day. Up until we could open our tap room, I think like a week and a half ago. And even still, we're doing like reduced capacity masks all the time indoors. We don't have food, but if you're sitting at a restaurant, you're allowed to, sit down, take your mask off, enjoy your meal kind of thing. But people are taking it pretty slow up here.
And we've got Kevin, one of the founders of Block 3 Brewing, that's joining us. Kevin, yeah, that's the impacts on stuff like this. I'll be honest with you, man. I worked in the beer industry for a few years, and if I was told that we had to close down, completely shut down serving operations and not be open for 3 months, I'll be very honest with you, I don't know that we'd have made it. So my hat's off to you guys for figuring out a way to keep it going and being back open when you could be. But before we get too far into the weeds about the seriousness of COVID and the struggles that Block 3 Brewing are going through, one thing that we always like to... we might have lost him.
Yeah, something's beeping.
Oh, no.
Is that your partner,
Talking
Kevin?
too much about COVID.
Graham?
Yeah, he might be trying to call in. So I can't patch callers on WhatsApp, not like an iPhone. So if Smash, you could hit him up and just let him know that I can't patch or join 2 callers together, 3 callers together. Anyways, Kevin, one thing that we like to start out with is kind of your beer journey of sorts, right? As a person, not necessarily as a brewer, as a brewing company. What was your path to beer? For most of us down here in the States, it was kind of being at your uncle's house, maybe your grandpa's house, busting out a PBR or a Miller High Life or something of that sort out of one of their refrigerators. And kind of that first experience is sometimes a toddler, sometimes a teenager, but rarely ever after 21, kind of your first beer experience. Do you remember what that was?
Yeah, a little. I mean, in high school, you do what you can to steal that Molson Canadian out of your parents' cabinet or whatever. But so our drinking age is 19. So when I went to college, there was craft beer had already existed. So the first, when we had money, the first stuff we bought in college was craft beer, right? Steam Whistle is a big brand here in Canada, and that was like a big one for us. But you're in college, you're still getting by, you're doing what you can on limited funds. And then I left college, and I was a musician. I performed on cruise ships. I did basically whatever gig would pay me. I was a session musician. And then I was looking for a day job, and I was like, what would be fun? Probably working in a brewery. But this was 2010, and you could actually just walk into a brewery and still get a job like that. So that kind of started my professional career. And then from there, it's just been downhill ever since.
Nice. Downhill instead of uphill, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So where in this journey, was there a point in time that you, in your music, when you started the music thing, that you were just like, hey, I'm tired of this. I want, I played in a brewery, or I've been at some breweries. I want to be a part of that scene. Was there a specific time that you can remember that happened at, or a general time frame in your life that kind of that moment happened for you?
Yeah, I don't know if it was like one moment in particular, but like thinking back to then and like trying new beers and, going to bars and like touring and stuff and like checking out breweries that are in different areas, thinking like, oh man, if I need a day job, this is a good day job. But yeah, it was just like, it was a one-off thing. And I was like, I think this would be fun. And just thinking back to what I knew then versus what I know now, I was like, oh man, I was so green a clamp was. I didn't know what a gasket was. Like, I'm surprised they took a chance on me,
Yeah, for sure. So at what point in your working at breweries were you like, man, I can do what it is that this place is doing, or maybe I can do it better? When did you decide that this, running a brewery and owning a brewery and being the founder of a brewery was going to be your thing?
Okay, so yeah, I'll give a little bit of the history of Block 3 Brewing. I did not found Block 3 Brewing. I'm just one of the, I'm the head brewer there right now.
Okay.
Graham was one of the founders. And so they started as, just, the typical story, like 4 dudes who like drink a beer, like trying new beers, and then figured, hey, maybe we'll start a brewery. I'm an accountant. So Graham, Derek, and Phil, they're accountants. And then this other guy, Brian, he was like the brewer. Right? Me and him worked.
Yeah, I gotta laugh for a minute, because there seems to be a trend with accountants to get involved in beer, and just at some point in their lives, they're like, "Fuck accounting, fuck accounting. I want to go play in beer for a little bit."
Because accounting wants us to drink.
Yeah.
So
sort of accounting makes me want to drink anyways.
So the three of us tonight, that's what we do. On this side of the mic, that's what we do as well. So it's kind of I had to laugh about it and it kind of interrupt you there, so I apologize for that. But yeah, we can definitely appreciate that aspect of it.
Sure, yeah. So I mean, they got together and they had the the money and the business know-how, and then Brian was the previous head brewer, and he had the brewing know-how, and me and him knew each other from the brewery we both worked at called Wellington. That they're a little bit bigger. They probably do like 25,000 barrels. They're quite a much larger brewery than the one we run right now, where we both cut our teeth. And then Brian wanted to kind of get out and not have it be his day job anymore, and just be an owner. So he brought me in to run the place for him.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good transition to make, when you can bow out and let somebody else take it over for you. That's when you kind of know you've made it, not only as a business but as a leader of people. When you can bring something up like that, so that's definitely impressive. And Hoppy's dropped the Block 3 Brewing Instagram link there in the chat for anybody that's interested. Make sure you check that out. Lucky says it's always accountants. Shaking my head. Yeah, it's always accountants, man. It's kind of funny how that's working out. So, Kevin, what is it that you? What is when you go in and brew? When you brew the beer, when you come up with a style of beer, where is it that you look for inspiration? What is it that inspires you to be to produce a different recipe, the next beer?
So I was always drawn to like oak-aged stuff, like Belgian kind of sour things, like saison, like super dry, maybe a little bit bitter, that kind of thing. So that I definitely draw a lot of inspiration from like the continental European styles. But when there's, sometimes it's just like a meal you have and you're like, oh man, this flavor would go so well with this. Or like we do a kettle sour called Sickle Mistress, and we'll do like a fruited variation of it every month because we like making money, and that's a really good way to do that. But this one we make that's really popular is raspberry and ginger, and that was just like a Italian soda I had one time, and I was like, oh man, this would be a great beer, So kind of like inspiration comes out of everywhere. You just got to keep your eyes open, right?
Nice.
That's a good way of looking at it.
So Block 3 Brewing, what kind of beer are they known for in the area? Is there a specific style that you guys tend to brew? Or are you a little bit all over the place? Do you have some core beers that you're known for? What is the brand? What do the brands look like that you guys are putting out?
Yeah, so when they started the place, they started it with this 4.5% alcohol saison called King Street Saison, and I remember talking to Brian and just being like, "This is not going to work. Like, what are you doing?" This is 7 years ago, right? Like, no one knew what a saison was, but that is by far our bestseller. It flies. So we're known for like the Belgian stuff and sour beers. I have like 100 some odd oak barrels. Fooder. We have a cool ship, so we do some spontaneous stuff. But all of that is actually a pretty small portion of our overall production, which is a lot of King Street Saison and a lot of what I'm drinking right now, which is our Hollinger Helles, which is just like a light, easy drinking lager, right? It's just like a
nice
fresher.
Yeah, that definitely sounds good, and it sounds like you guys are. Have kind of found a niche then in the market and what you guys do. I wouldn't imagine that you go into your brewery then and find too many heavy beers, right?
No, yeah, that's definitely something we're conscious of in the summer right now. We try to say no beers over 6.5% in the summer, just because they just sit around on tap. Like no one really wants to go out and have like a 8 or 9%er unless they're really going for it.
Have you met Hoppy?
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. You haven't met
our other host.
You haven't met our female counterpart, but I will tell you right now, if you only have 4%ers on tap, she might not even slow down.
He says that, but being open to 9.2% now.
Yeah, we joke, but we're pretty serious too. She's a heavy swinger, but yeah, I can. As she chimes in, she's drinking a 8.5%er. Just kicking back on a Tuesday night. so she's definitely swinging for the fences when she shows up. But that's definitely an interesting style. So that I don't know that I see that too much in the States. Some breweries that stick to the lower percentage style beers, but what we have saw, and this has just been since I've only become aware of this since we started the live streams since April, but there seems to be a big push to the non-alcoholic side. So I would imagine there'll be some breweries that kind of find their niche in a market that is low percentage as well. I know, obviously IPAs, double IPAs, and everything else is the rage still down here. So those heavy beers are still... there's some breweries that you walk into and that's 90% of their tap list is an IPA of some sort. So that's an interesting model, but I guarantee you, especially when it gets to the balmy 82 degrees here in the high country in North Carolina, a 4%er would definitely be on top, because that's what I'm drinking tonight is a 3.5% lager. So that's right up my alley for sure. Hoppy would probably give it to me and take something out of my cooler that had a little bit more alcohol with it. But that's a great model, and I definitely appreciate those guys that kind of specialize and follow that market of those lighter brews, because the older I get, the more important those things are. We were just talking about that earlier, being able to crush those low ABV lagers all day long in the tailgate and still be able to function and make it home without getting arrested. That's pretty important when you're a father and got a job.
Yeah. I don't even know if it's like if it's a model. It's just kind of like a personal philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
And then like we just we like having a couple beers. We don't want to just have one. And then go to bed.
Yeah, that was the last guys we had on with a non-alcoholic beer. They were kind of the same way. I mean, they'd all come from big beer companies, and that was their exact statement. We want to be able to drink and have a good time and not get tanked and, just not be able to enjoy it, especially the next morning.
I like to be able to be functional the next day.
Lucky still rolls the dice on that once in a
while. we live through Lucky. He just wakes up the next day. Is like, guys, I'm never drinking again. And then that night, he's back at the bar.
Yeah. What time does the stream start?
Yeah.
I'm never drinking again, but until the stream starts. So.
Yeah.
So Hoppy has a question actually. With it being so cold up there, do favorite styles change that much throughout the year? Like you said, in the summertime it's lighter, but do you guys change more to heavier stouts, things like that in the wintertime as it gets cooler, or is things not change all that much as far as variety and favoritism?
So, great question. There definitely is like a seasonal focus. Part of that is also due to the fact that our liquor stores are all run by the government, but that's something we can get into in a little bit. But what people like, we definitely make some heavier stuff. Like we'll go into like the Belgian doubles, the triples, the quads, like that kind of stuff around Christmas. It does get very cold, like it gets to negative 40 Fahrenheit. And I'm in the southern part of Canada. We're more south than like Seattle would be, but it's just the way the wind flows through that area. We get pretty cold. So there is definitely a seasonal drinking, but it's just like I'm the boss. It's my personal preference. I don't really like super heavy, like big pastry stouts or things like that. I'll try them. I'll have my little 4-ounce sample, and then I'm done with it. So we don't really make anything like that.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, I can definitely appreciate that. But did you say negative 40?
Yeah, I'm upset that I know what that feels like.
Oh man, see, I'm from the New England area, so I'm familiar with like negative 20, but negative 40.
Yeah.
Same. In Wisconsin, it gets pretty low.
We're basically between Buffalo and Detroit.
That makes sense. That does make. I actually stumbled upon you guys last summer when I was driving. I went to like Niagara Falls Brewery, and then was making my way to Michigan through Ontario and went to Toronto. So that's how I figured you guys out. But yeah, I know exactly the area you're in, and it's pretty flat out there, so I can see how the wind can. Yeah. Oh God, but still, oof.
Yeah, it's a great place to live. I love Southern Ontario, but the weather is crazy, right? I don't know Fahrenheit, but we're at like 35 to like 100 degrees or something like that right now. It's gross.
Yeah.
It's there is no in between. It's either we're at 100 degrees or at negative 40.
Yeah. Well, all your southern listeners are laughing at me right now.
Yeah, I guarantee you.
From Florida, so she's over here talking about needing a blanket already.
Yeah. She's talking 100 degrees. That's kind of chilly for you down there, Hoppy. You probably need a blanket at night if it's only 100.
Oh. I actually went to Florida in it was like late January to judge the Florida Best Beer competition, and it was like St. Petersburg, Tampa area, and it was like whatever 22 degrees is in Fahrenheit, and I was like, oh dude, I'm definitely wearing shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's like 7. Yeah, I mean it does get a little chilly, but I imagine coming from Canada in the dead of winter to southern Florida nonetheless, it's like, oh God, it's miserable out here.
Yeah, it was beautiful, and you know what? Amazing beer scene in the Tampa area.
That's what I'm drinking right now. A copper from Copper Tail Brewing, an unholy, a 9.2% from Tampa. So they do have a lot of good beers, and our other guest has showed us. So how was judging that? How'd you end up judging the Florida beer competition there?
Yeah, so I mean I've been a BJCP judge for a long time, and I just reached out you just connect with people right through the internet. And one guy, Jason Toft, who runs Gulfport Brewery, which I believe is in Gulf. They weren't open when I went down there, but he said, "Hey man, we'll bring you in, and you can be a judge, and you can experience the scene and just the hospitality of the craft beer industry." And Yeah, it was great. It was a beautifully run competition. The beers were, I would say, pretty much all above par. Like, they were all really good, at least the ones I judged. And then, yeah, like St. Petersburg and Tampa have an amazing beer scene that's definitely worth traveling to and checking out, you know?
I think we just lost Lucky. Is he going to look for another beer? Is that where he went?
He just left midstream to go get another beer.
He just got up and walked away like he was thirsty. So I did. So we just talked about this. I think it may have been last episode with you guys. Talked about brown ales. Was that last episode or the one before that? It's all starting to run together.
We have talked about brown ales a couple times. It was with Baxter Brewing out of Maine. We talked brown ales. They do a good brown ale.
That's it. And I kind of said then that I've yet to really have a brown ale that makes me want to go back to it. I will tell you, that just changed tonight with this from Burial. It's called Coco Bolo. It is a brown ale with real coconut and chocolate added. And I will tell you what, guys, this thing is phenomenal. It is not the typical brown ale that's kind of lacking in flavor and just not really have a substance to it. I think that's really my problem with brown ales. They're just too thin, right? Because if you look at it, you want it to be a porter at least. You're thinking stout because it's darker. But they're typically a little bit thin for me. This one here is amazing. I mean, I would, if I see this again, I will buy another 6-pack of it just to make sure that I have one in the refrigerator for when fall hits. They hit that one out of the park. And I will tell you, you guys know it, I don't drink a lot of Burial beer. This is probably the first that I've had with you guys on the episode. So great beer there. I can imagine a brown ale, though, in Canada in the fall is probably pretty big. Do you guys do anything like a brown ale there, Kevin?
We do, yeah. So we do one called, it's not in the fall, actually. It's in the spring, like maple syrup season, a big thing. This is like the most stereotypical Canadian crap I can come up with.
Is your guys' maple syrup season, is it in March as well? Because that's usually when back home we tap the trees.
Yeah, March, April. You want that freeze-thaw cycle, right? So we do a maple syrup brown ale. We do one per year. There's a big maple syrup festival. It sells out.
Kevin,
like we sell like 20 barrels in a weekend.
You've got me wanting one now.
Next year.
I was hoping.
There's a big.
Go ahead.
There's a big history of English brewing technique in Canada, being one of the Commonwealth.
Mm-hmm.
So you do get a lot of ESB, bitter, brown ale, that kind of.
Nice. I was hoping when I asked you that you would say, yes, we do a brown ale and it has maple syrup in it, because I can only imagine how good that damn beer is, especially in the fall, or I guess your guys is in the spring, but put that thing away and save it for the fall time around here, and I'm going to drink the hell out of it. I might even try to cook it down and make it into some syrup or something if it's good enough. Maple syrup is definitely hard to beat. That's one thing I remember about going to Vermont last summer. Everything had maple syrup in it. You want to talk about stereotypical? You have nothing to worry about until you visit Vermont.
I actually have friends like sending me maple syrup across the states right now to Idaho, because I'm like, I miss my New Hampshire maple syrup, and they're like, all right, man, which kind? Vermont? And I'm like, it doesn't matter. I just need it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Kevin, one thing that we'd like to ask the guests before we don't tie up any more of their time is, if the three of us were to walk in and belly up to your bar tonight, like right now, what is it that you would what is it that you would pour for us?
I think I would start with our Hellas, just because that's what we drink a lot of at work. Like, that's kind of our just everyday go-to beer. And then we do like our Kettle Sour Fickle Mistress. It's immensely popular. So if we're talking like a flight, maybe a 4, then we maybe move into. We do try to make the New England IPA here and there. And then maybe one of our oak aged sours, just because we do a lot of that. People really enjoy it. I like to think they're very good. It takes a lot of time and effort on my part to make sure those are like blended well and free of off flavors. So those are one of the things that I'm definitely proud of, if they're not a huge part of our volume.
Yeah, that's awesome. It definitely sounds like you get a pretty interesting pick right there, a sample there. And I would definitely be interested in trying all of those. You do a pretty good job of selling the products you do have, especially the Hellas. I would definitely be down for that. Would probably be the one that I would ask you to pour me a pint of. I'll take the little sample of it, but the flight pour there. But I would definitely have to have you pour me a pint of that one. Kevin, we definitely appreciate your time with us this evening on Hoppy Hour. Is there anything that we may have failed to ask you, or that you would like to mention about Block 3 Brewing or yourself?
Yeah, man. If anyone's coming through, we do have Village Beer Garden Road. It's our restaurant. We don't have food at our tap room, so this is kind of our big outdoor, 100-seat patio. Our chef's from Mexico. He makes incredible Mexican food. And then just signs and, our pints are a little bit bigger in Canada than yours. They're 20 ounces, not 16. So
nothing
just be
wrong
wary
with
of that.
Size doesn't matter.
The
Wait,
bigger
Lucky.
the better.
Yeah, it does sometimes, especially in the size of pints. It does sometimes, especially in the size of pints. And Hoppy's there sharing the Instagram, shared the website. Kevin posted his there, and I believe Hoppy shared Kevin's personal Instagram as well.
KF Beer.
Yeah, check us out at Block 3 Brewing on everything at KF Beer. Yeah, just come say hi. I'm always happy to talk to beer enthusiasts and brewers and stuff. So
yeah,
it's been a great chat, guys.
And if we had a prize for the caller with the best audio, Kevin would definitely win it. Yeah, we appreciate you, Kevin, because it's definitely going to it sounds good on our end. I'm sure the viewers are enjoying it tonight. Some of them can be a little bit of a challenge, but it's nice that when people go out of the way to make it nice. Kevin, we appreciate your time tonight. Keep making the great liquid that you do up there in Canada. Appreciate I think you're our first international caller on Hoppy Hour. We do a Sunday international show, but I think you're the first one that's joined us for our regular Hoppy Hour. So we definitely appreciate that. Appreciate your time this evening. And thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it.
I'm honored, guys. Nice talk. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
I think we should do the bomber jacket to a random sharer of the stream, perhaps.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm glad you reminded me
We're 5
that.
subscribers away, so.
Yeah, we also have as Mash. Let's go talk to Mash for a minute. He can tell us about our subscribers.
Oh, yes. So if you have been paying attention to our Facebook, our Instagram, any of that YouTube page, you'll see that Feelin' Lucky premiered, which Lucky can talk all about that. But they premiered this past Sunday, and man, he knocked it out of the park with his crew, because we were sitting at 70 subscribers for the longest time and shot up to 95, and overnight it seemed. So now we're sitting 5 subscribers away on our YouTube channel, which 100 subscribers, it doesn't get us anything other than a custom link. So if we can get to 5 more tonight, we can get our own custom YouTube link, which would be easier for you to find, easier for anybody to share. So I think maybe if one random share of this stream, if you can, share it. And I think maybe that's how we'll choose our Hops News Bomber Jacket giveaway tonight, because we got custom Hops News Bomber Jackets now, and they're looking pretty sweet. I'm jealous I don't have one myself yet.
Well, they are definitely coming in the package that was sent out today.
Oh, man.
With hops juice in it.
6 to midnight.
Yeah, had hops juice in it. And
6 to midnight real quick.
Oh, in an instant.
So I will tell you, the first time our son went and dropped off the mailings, they asked him, does it have anything flammable in it? He's like, yeah, it's got alcohol in it.
Oh, no.
I'm like, what the hell kind of alcohal are you drinking?
Show up?
Yeah, not yet. They might. Hey, they might at Hoppy's house because that was a package we had to send to Hoppy. So they might show up at Hoppy's house.
Happens.
So Hoppy, Hoppy dropped the link.
Nothing.
Yeah, Hoppy dropped the link to Feeling Lucky there in the chat. That's a great idea, Hoppy. Appreciate you doing that. You can watch it, subscribe to it. Like Mash said, we need 5 more people to subscribe, and we're in it. Now, that doesn't mean we get to monetize our YouTube channel because that's another 900 subscribers away.
We got a ways to go.
Yeah, we've got a ways to go, and a lot of people got to watch some content for us to even get close to that. So this is just a number for us to reach to get that custom URL. Who's changed up what they're drinking? Lucky, you drinking something different when you got up?
Yeah. You guys call me out every time I leave, but whatever. I gotta get another beer. I'm thirsty. Another Cream City, but this one's from Enlightened Brewing. It's called Cream City Bricks. It's a cream ale. It's pretty good. Enlightened's another one that it's over in Bayview, which is just a different part of Milwaukee, a different bar area, I guess is what I refer to it as. But they've got some cool stuff, and yeah, Enlightened's pretty new, but it's good. I think I've had it on here before. Not sure.
A good cream ale either. Cream ales are wicked good.
Yeah, that does sound good. Lucky, has your living arrangements changed for you?
We mentioned this in the pre-show. No, it has not. That plant behind me. So there's a funny story behind it. This is my first apartment that I've had by myself. Before this, I've always been with roommates, and so my mom got me a plant because she thought I needed to have something that I was responsible for in my life. But I don't know if she forgot. I have a dog. I've had a dog.
Mom, I got a dog.
3 years. I don't know if she just forgot about that, but yeah, I guess a plant takes more time than a dog. I don't know. I don't know what the deal
Plants
is, but yeah.
require nurturing, okay?
Yeah.
I have to water it. She's got a fair point because I have to water it twice a week, and I sometimes forget to do that. So, whatever.
All right, I was just wondering. It's the first time that I've noticed it there, and typically when a plant all of a sudden appears in a bachelor's house, it's because he's made a major life decision.
Promise that has.
I hope he
not
takes
happened.
a picture for his next Tinder profile holding the plant to show that he can just pair with something.
Yeah.
A plant and the dog. What more?
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. I know your mommy cares about you, making sure you've got that plant to get you out of bed and tend to it every day. If you don't have something like that to keep you going, you just may lay in bed.
That's what the dog's for. That's why I got the dog. 'Cause I would for sure be in bed all day. I guess outside of work if I didn't have the dog.
Hey, Rick, appreciate you sharing the Hops News YouTube channel
Yes.
there. Yeah. We only need 3 more subscribers. Man, I think last time we threatened people to pay them and they still didn't subscribe. And all of a sudden we get a feeling.
To ask if they were feeling lucky, I guess.
Yeah, all of a sudden we get a Feeling Lucky episode posted and the damn thing blows up.
Last time we were on, that was when JJ was on, and I forget, one of our Hops News family members said that both his left and his right nut subscribed or something like that. I forget who it was.
I can't
But I
remember who
started
it was
dying.
either. I can remember that now.
It was one of the Hops News family members, though.
Was it Dave, maybe?
David? I think it was David.
Might have been Dave.
I just, I died midstream. It was so funny.
Yeah, you can sign up your neighbor if you know their email address, or just
Or
make an
your
email
nuts.
address for them. I mean, you can never have too many email addresses, right? Just
True.
make an email address and sign up and add 3 more, and we'll be there. Maybe before the end of the night. That'd be kind of cool. Mash, I hear you've got some Hops News you want to talk about?
A little bit, yeah. Just some. We have a brewery. This happened last week. You know, we did a little bit of a no-no. If you are a head brewer, like this one from Patent Brewing, I suggest maybe keep your thoughts on influencers to yourself. He made some derogatory remarks on the Instagram and got called out for it. and their response was kind of, yeah, it was just a joke, man. Hey, it's just a prank. And that isn't also the right way to go, especially in today's climate. So Patent Brewing took some reflection. They came out and they have apologized for making some remarks from their head brewer. And hopefully they kind of learn from that. So I mean, it's not breaking news, but it is kind of one of those things that right now it's like, come on, guys, let's just all love each other. There's no need for things like that. Let's just be excellent human beings is my advice to you if you are watching, and just even if you're just a casual human being, just be good to each other. Something else I kind of have too, though, Weathered Souls. They have hit over 1,000 breweries as far as their collaboration goes, and probably the biggest brewery that has joined, and they are set to release Friday, is Sam Adams. Sam Adams is due to release their Black is Beautiful collaboration with Weathered Souls on Friday, and that's probably
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
They did. Sam Adams is releasing their Black is Beautiful Friday, and that's huge because initially when Weathered Souls rolled out their Black is Beautiful collaboration, the third party that they go through kind of their website messed up, so they sold more beer than they actually had. And I know Marcus and crew, they were really worried about, looking bad, and everyone was just, hey, I ordered beer, but I'm not getting it because you ran out. And so they actually had, like, forget the exact amount, like 100 pounds or maybe it was 1,000 pounds of extra ingredients donated to them, and they were able to brew up a new release. So this weekend they're about to release another release for Black is Beautiful themselves with Weathered Souls is, and then just even having Sam Adams, somebody like that, jumping on board. That's huge for the smaller craft breweries who are trying to make some impact on the world.
So crazy. We need to get them in the Believe in Beer and to collab with them.
Yes, and if anybody gets a chance, Believe in Beer, the Mobcraft collaboration with Bottle Share is they've released, and they ship to Florida. I believe they ship to New Hampshire. There's a few other states they ship to. Idaho, unfortunately, is not one of them, but Lucky can tell you all about it. He interviewed the dudes. I believe his next episode might be a interview with the guys from Bottle Share and Mobcraft themselves. So that's pretty good stuff, man.
Yeah, it is pretty good. I'm looking forward to Mash. Before I mention Lucky's upcoming live on location, you're going live Friday night, correct?
Yes. So Friday, it's going to be about 3 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. my time. If you remember a few weeks ago, we had Payette Brewing on. Well, since then, they got voted the best brewery in Boise of 2020, which is a pretty big deal. I mean, there's kind of a lot of breweries here. So I reached out to Paige and their marketing director, and she invited me over. I'm going to sit down live from our Facebook page and talk to not only her, but Mike, the founder and owner of Payette Brewing. And we're going to talk about, what kind of ways he's got into the beer industry and hear straight from the horse's mouth, all the ways that he's founded Payette and things he's done there. So I can't wait. And then tomorrow night, Hoppy and I's debut episode, our origin story, is going to be live on YouTube at 8 p.m. Eastern. So a lot of big things happening in the hops news world now. If you aren't following, tell your friends. Something for everybody.
Yeah, content is king, and we're producing the shit out of it right now. So if you're not following us on something, you need to get on it. Share us, like us, subscribe to us. We definitely appreciate it. Speaking of content, Mash, you got a hell of a schedule coming up. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've got coming up, who you've got lined up, when they can catch them, and all of the details that you have about it.
For sure. So like I said, tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, the Hops News YouTube page. If you haven't subscribed, head over there, get on it. We have Hops Geek, which you can also find on Spotify, all the streaming platforms there. But it hits YouTube tomorrow. Then on Tuesday, we potentially are going to have the Southstone Brewing guys back on. If you remember last week when we were with Hop Culture and Kenny Gould, we had a last-minute call-in, and it was the Southstone guys to kind of talk about what's going on between them and Stone. So I've reached out, and they potentially are going to be on next Tuesday. Next Thursday, we have Wellbeing Brewing, Tom from Wellbeing. And Wellbeing is doing a lot of huge things. I had the opportunity to talk to Tom on the phone the other day. They are a non-alcoholic craft brewery, but their sales have increased in the last 3 years 500%. And for a non-alcoholic beer to be at like the front of the store of Total Wine, that's pretty insane. So we have them coming on. We have Front Porch Drinking Mag coming on the second week of August. They're out of Denver, Colorado. And then I'm gonna fangirl out just so everybody knows. August 13th, we got Shipyard Brewing Company coming on. Bruce Forsley, their marketing director, will be on with us Thursday, August 13th. And then after that, we got White Dog Brewing Boise, and then we have Pontoon Brewing, which leads me into, if you've heard anything about Pontoon, them and Bottle Share are collaborating for a Brownie Bash Festival in September. Well, Lucky is going to be at that. We will be there as part of media. There are over 30 breweries announced, so we'll be there September 12th. And September, we got some other breweries lined up as well. And you are able to find all of those on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, live. And you can also check it on YouTube afterwards. So we got some great things coming, man. I'm really excited to talk to these guys.
Speaking of Total Wine, I just found out today that Hops News is going to have its first paying gig on September the 3rd at a Total Wine in Charlotte, North Carolina. So
Dang.
if you're a Total Wine fan or have one in the area, go follow him. And the content that you see streamed on September 3rd will take place all because of you guys, especially the
awesome.
Hops News family member. It's been fun, and I will tell you, those conversations aren't over. This little gig that they've asked us to support them with is kind of a first step in a lot of things that are happening, especially here in this area. But definitely appreciate the other three that support the show and our co-host on the show and help make it go forward every day. It's good to see us get some recognition like that. And to help, Total Wine's a big brand, man. To have a company like
Absolutely.
that ask us for help is pretty
Total Wine.
Yeah, pretty crazy. And now that when I looked at the calendar set in here, I see that is a day that we have Hoppy Hour. So just maybe I'll be at a Total Wine stage up somewhere following the production that we do for them. So it could be that could be a hell of an episode for us. So
That's huge.
Stand by.
Yeah.
We'll figure out how we're going to make that happen when we make that happen. So Thursdays and Tuesdays, Hoppy Hour, 8 p.m. Eastern, same place. We're here for you as Facebook, YouTube, and our Twitter account. I don't know if there's any more places for us to be at this point, streaming video, but that's where we're at. You can find us, share us, like us, subscribe to us, grab your kid's phone, iPad, and subscribe and like us, because I did it for my daughter about a week ago. And now she asks me all the time, Daddy, who was that on the show? Daddy, who was that on the show? What were you drinking there? So trust me, kids love it. It's a good kids show. They learn about alcohol and all the craziness.
We teach them the
Gotta
important
learn
things in
them
life.
young. You gotta learn them young.
Yeah, you got to teach them young about good beer.
We're just prepping for college, okay?
Yeah, Lucky. We mentioned feeling lucky. Let's go check in with Lucky. Lucky, tell us about Feeling Lucky and what we can expect on Sunday at 8 p.m. when the next episode of Feeling Lucky premieres. What are we going to see then?
Well, hopefully we can expect it to drop on time. I apologize to everyone that it came out like 3 hours late. I believe the first night, and I wasn't sleeping well, so it's Feeling Lucky. Thank you guys, everybody that reached out, gave feedback about the first episode. I got a lot of it, and it was awesome. Yeah, I'd love to see the YouTube going up, the subscribers going up. It was a lot of fun. That was the pilot episode. The first official episode drops on Sunday, and we already have it uploaded. We shot it back a couple of weeks. It was probably almost a month ago at this point. We were at me and my guys were on scene at the Believe in Beer collaboration between Mobcraft and Bottle Share. Mobcraft is one of my favorite Milwaukee breweries, and Bottle Share, Chris is probably my favorite person on the planet at this point. So we sat down with them for 45 minutes. We asked them for like 20, and I honestly think it went 45 minutes, just hanging out, shooting the shit, feeling lucky style. So it was a lot of fun. We have that, plus we'll have a couple of segments from the regular show. But yeah, that'll be the first official episode of Feeling Lucky, and I think it turned out better than the pilot. So tune into that. Hopefully I'll be promoting it quite a bit this weekend. Yeah, I'm super excited for it. It's a pretty good turnout for the pilot episode. So I appreciate all of that. And yeah, hopefully now that it'll actually come out on time, we'll get some more eyeballs on it.
Yeah, that should be now that we know how YouTube works a little bit more with premiering
right.
Videos,
YouTube,
it should be all right. Yeah, so Feeling Lucky, there's a little bit of the show that's kind of like a Dear Abby segment. I've already seen people asking about it. We are developing a new website that will have a feature when you can hit record and record Lucky a message that talks about Dear Abby or Dear Lucky. Part of it. We'll have that in there when the website is released. That's going to be a few weeks away yet. But in meantime, if you want to submit a question for Dear Lucky, send it to lucky@hopsnews.beer with the subject line Dear Lucky, and you will get in touch with Lucky to let him hear the question about life, beer, taxes. I mean, he's willing to answer any question you submit to him at any episode that you request. He'll make sure he gets back to you. So it's I will tell you, I watched the first one when I was putting a video together for these guys, and they're on to something. You can tell it's three guys that are pretty close that enjoy being around each other and having a good time, and that generally makes for great content. So we'll see some more from those guys. There'll be another premiere Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel. So go subscribe to it so you can be in the know of when it comes out.
Also, if you guys want, I officially made sure to get the handle for Feeling Lucky Pod on Instagram and on Twitter. It's got both of them, I believe, should have the Hops News logo, or the logo that's Feeling Lucky, but like it's easy to find because it looks just like the Hops News logo as the avatar. But Feeling Lucky Pod, that's another way. We just made that to get easy. We're gonna try to promote like put some of the short clips out or something on that to promote the podcast, and Dear Lucky and stuff. You can slide into those DMs. Those are that's gonna be run by all three of us. And yeah, that's another way to get at me. But yeah, awesome. Lucky at hopsnews.beer.
So Lucky, where do people find you, and what's your parting shots for the evening? It's almost time for another episode to end.
Holy cow, 37:59. Yeah, so that's going to be the Instagram and Twitter that I promote from now on. I haven't done it at all yet on my personal page. I think we have maybe like 2 followers. One of them's my mom. But yeah, Feeling Lucky Pod. Feeling with no G. Lucky Pod on both Instagram and on Twitter. Follow us there. Follow me there. Slide in to the DMs with Dear Luckies. And yeah, parting shots, man. It's just hoping for sports to be back. I currently have the over for the Brewers and the Pirates game. So been following along with that. But yeah, that's about it.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you. And it's great work. Doing a great job with that show. I'm looking forward to the future content. Mash, where can people find you? When is the next episode of Hops Geek News coming out? How do people find that? And what's your parting shots for the night?
Yeah, so I might have to go with Hoppy. Maybe we're going to need to run our own separate little Instagram like Lucky is, and play some short clips and put a lot of geek flair on it, just so we don't nerd out too hard on the Hops News here. But for now, you can find me at Matthew Tyler on Instagram and on Twitter. On Facebook, you can hit me up here. You can slide in my email if you want, mash@hopsnews.beer. And then as far as our geek news, tomorrow's Origin story drops at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. And I believe every Wednesday will be a new episode from there, which right now you can find the first episode's all on Spotify. It's on every podcast streaming platform. You can find it there. And Thursday, perhaps I'll have a Instagram or something made up for you guys as well. So that's where you can find us.
Awesome. And we are going to drop everything from now on with Hops Geeks News at 8 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. So
yes,
we can schedule publication or publishing of all of that content to drop at the same time for you guys. So that'll be more content at a regular interval that we're producing the same way with Feeling Lucky. Mash, appreciate you tonight. Thanks for joining us on a Tuesday night. I know it's rough for you to join us on a Tuesday night, but thanks for joining us tonight. Hops News is probably the easiest to find. At Hops News, we're going to show up everywhere. Hopsnews.beer, hopsnews.com. Hops News is where you can find us. Google us, search us, YouTube us.
YouTube, we need 3. Did I see that? We're at 97.
We're at 97 right now.
Just 3 more, guys. Come on. Make an account for your favorite pair of shoes or something.
Right.
Lord, I can't sign any more people up. So there's Hoppy dropping the Feeling Lucky Pod Instagram. Appreciate that, Hoppy. That's there in the chat now. That's awesome. Good content. Patreon or the Hops News family members, you can join us there. I will tell you guys, in all honesty, and Hoppy's dropping the Hops News Instagram there in the chat. Appreciate that, Hoppy. I will tell you guys, without the Hops News family members, Lucky would not get this care package that's on his way for his next live segment. That dude is going to be legit. If nobody's seen that test video that I popped there in the Hops News family, when he shows up live, people are going to know that he's legit. He's going to sound better. He'll look better. And definitely appreciate the...
Brownie Bash September 12th.
Yeah, Brownie Bash September 12th.
Live. That is my next live. I will be there on the Hops News Facebook again, just like was it Mobcraft. And I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, they're going to open the doors for
me and
him.
JJ.
So it'll be good. Don't forget Bomber Jacket. Share us. We'll give it away to a random drawing winner. Appreciate Kevin from Block 3 Brewing. Man, that's pretty awesome to have our first international caller on the show and sounding as good as he did. I've talked to brewers just down the road on the phone that sounded like garbage compared to Kevin all the way up in Canada joining us there. So appreciate your efforts there, Kevin. That's definitely appreciated. And if I ever get up that way, I will definitely stop in and see if I can find some of that brown ale with a Canadian maple syrup in it. Maybe if Mash is up there.
God.
At some point, we should try to get Graham on. I want to hear from one of the founders. I mean, I loved hearing from the head brewer, but I want to hear from one of the founders about him, too. It sounded like they were serving up some good stuff.
Yeah, Graham actually texted me. That was him that was trying to call in. I'm not familiar enough with WhatsApp to be able to merge calls like that, but I'm sure we could. I'll message him and see. We'll see if we
I emailed him already, actually, saying that we should try to get him on. So
awesome. Yeah, let's do it. All right, folks. It's been a great episode. Appreciate you. Thank you for your support, the family members, and one last thing.
See you in the after hours.
Yeah, we're going to do after hours. That post is already posted. The link is already out there. It will be another loose night. I can promise you that. It always is in the after hours. Cheers. It's been real, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Appreciate you.
Guys. Love you.
Yeah.
There's Lucky.
Solid.
Slamming them down.
Had to finish.
Slamming them down.
I won't be on